Welcome to the pre-match show presented by the Brian Burt's Home Selling Team. Score the best deal on a home with the Brian Burt's Home Selling Team. Visit brianburts.com or call 915-751-1500.
Midweek soccer in El Paso. Tonight, Locomotive FC hosts Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC. Last season, this matchup was action-packed. Tons of big moments. What will the rivalry bring tonight? We'll find out. Welcome back to Southwest University Park. I'm Duke Keith, joined by KTSM Sports Director Colin Deaver. We'll be joined by Rachel Phillips pitchside here in just a little bit. Well, seems like only yesterday. As a matter of fact, it was only 4 nights ago. Something like that. Saturday night, we were here for Locomotive season opener, a 1-0 loss to Sacramento. That was tough, but there were some big moments for this Locomotive squad. Colin, what did you think?
Well, they controlled the time of possession in both halves, really. They created maybe the best chances to score, except for that one big chance that Sacramento got in the 42nd minute. And that, for Brian Clairhout, was the biggest key that they will have to kind of fix this week after a 1-0 loss on Saturday. You have to find those moments in the final third. They have to be more clinical in the box, and that was a point of emphasis both after that match versus Sacramento on Saturday and in training for Brian Clairhout yesterday.
Absolutely. Defensively is pretty big for Locomotive FC as we take a look at some of the highlights from that one. Defense looks solid. You had Mark Navarro, Bence Pakovic making their debuts for El Paso along with goalkeeper Benny Diaz. Good balance from them on the attack and getting back to fill those spaces in transition. Best moment of the night, though, had to be the return of Chapa. First action for him since tearing his ACL in May of last year against Sacramento Republic, and you get the chills from the crowd reaction when he subbed on. Yeah,
it was so fantastic to see. He's been through so much the last 10 months, kind of making his return to soccer, right? And so fantastic for him to get that opportunity, and he played well in that moment. He is available for selection tonight. We do expect to see him as well. We'll see as he gets into this, his second match back from the injury, if he's able to do even more tonight.
This will be the start of the switchback season. Lots of big names gone for them. Haji Berry transferred out last season. Michi Galina now playing in Turkey. And if new head coach as well, Stephen Hogan, taking over for Brendan Burke, who joins Houston Dynamo. And they do bring on Romario Williams. They will look to play fast, the same as last season. Lots of pressure to put El Paso defenders on the defensive, but we'll open up some spaces we didn't see against Sacramento Republic. First half of this Western Conference rivalry on the other side of the break. El Paso Locomotive FC looking for 3. Springs, Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC trying to start their season with a road win. A big night of USL Championship soccer headed your way next.
Southwest Chiropractic, serving El Paso area and relieving pain for more than 20 years. Not only do we treat auto, sports, and work-related injuries, but we also treat scoliosis, sciatica, back pain, disc injuries, chronic pain treatment, and we even manage stress. At Southwest Chiropractic, our patients are seen the same day. We provide gentle and effective care, and we accept most insurances. Schedule your appointment today and let us relieve your pain. With 3 convenient locations in El Paso, Southwest Chiropractic. Your health is our well-being. Call us today, 915-581-9619.
El Paso Locomotive is back in 2023 for more thrilling moments, more fun for the family, and more goals. Don't miss a moment of the action. Get your tickets now at eplocomotivefc.com. Vamos El Paso.
We asked El Paso, why do they shop at Casa Ford?
Great selection. Great service. Great prices.
And the number one answer? 3 generations serving El Paso. And now check out this great deal.
Get 0% financing plus $1,000 bonus cash on a new Ford F-150 XLT.
Everyone's a winner when you shop Casa Ford. Home of the nice guys. Yeah!
El Paso Locomotive is back in 2023 for more thrilling moments, more fun for the family, and more goals. Don't miss a moment of the action. Get your tickets now at eplocomotivefc.com. Vamos El Paso.
Welcome to Southwest University Park. It's setting in to be a breezy but beautiful evening here in the Sun City. Duke Keith alongside Colin Deaver. And again, we'll be speaking to Rachel Phillips down on pitch side here in a little while. But as we take a look at the starting lineups tonight, Colin, it is wonderful to see, not starting, but on the bench, Lucho Solignac.
Yeah, they were missing him on Saturday in the season opener, Duke. So fantastic to see him, like you said, not starting, but the leading goal scorer for El Paso in 2022, 16 that made him 5th in USL Championship. We'll see if he comes off the bench tonight and gives Locomotive a little bit of a boost.
Colorado Springs right at it. Switchbacks FC looking for just their second ever win versus Locomotive FC. Should be noted that any shred that Locomotive had of playoff hope last year pretty much dashed by this same Switchbacks team this same time, well, in October of last season.
Yeah, 4-1 loss at home for El Paso that night as they were, as you said, trying to make a push for the playoffs. They kind of put themselves up against it late in the season, and that wasn't the performance that they wanted to put forth tonight. A lot of different guys on both sides of the soccer ball today, so we'll see what they can change up tonight for El Paso.
For Switchbacks FC, 10 gone, 10 new, and lots and lots of new faces to kind of incorporate, including a head coach, as we talked about, Stephen Hogan, the Irishman, taking over for Brendan Burke, who heads to the Houston Dynamo. But pretty much their system is set. Hogan's not going to stir the pot. And Benny Diaz, with some early pressure, just deals it out long. Colorado Springs will press.
They certainly will. That's what they like to do. They got the guys to do it up top. Romario Williams, Malik Foster in this 3-5-2 that they'll be playing tonight. And they have speed, like you said. Literally have a guy named Speedy Williams. So if he's not the fastest guy on the field, there may be an issue for Speedy Williams.
Well, Romario Williams, Malik Foster, starting tonight for Colorado Springs, probably could give Speedy a run for his money. Long ball out of the back. We'll be seeing that quite a bit. And well run down. Out on the right side by Malik Foster. The Jamaican international. Nice cross. Top of the box and the shot. And an early goal. Jairo Enriquez throws it in just the second minute of play. And Colorado Springs has a dream start here in El Paso, Texas.
They did not play on Saturday, so this is their first match of the season, as we highlighted in the open. Barely 2 minutes into the first game of the season for them. I mean, what a goal. They want to play direct. That's exactly what they did. One of the returners from last season netting a goal, and he will be crucial for them in the midfield. This crowd, Duke, pretty stunned with such an early goal here.
Well, it's got to be the fastest since the very, very first game. Deshaun Brown scoring for Oklahoma City Energy back in 2019. That was 18 seconds into the match. This at least took about a minute and a half more. But Locomotive FC will have to play from behind, looking for its first goal of the season, and the pressure continues as it's dealt out of play. Last touch, though, by Romario Williams. And what a start for Switchbacks FC.
And we were set to talk about all the guys that they were missing. But again, Jairo Enriquez coming in, the El Salvador national, plays with Eric Calvillo on the El Salvador national team. 4 goals last year. They're expecting him to step into that role a little bit, maybe produce some more goals as an assister. But clearly, when the ball finds him in the box, he is very calm and collected.
Dennis Castician knocked to the turf to draw the foul. He spent a lot of time in the turf versus Sacramento Republic.
Yeah, certainly did. Took a couple of knocks and had to be helped up a couple of times by his teammates.
And another bit of pressure here. Nice spin and a turn and put over the bar. Romario Williams trying to line one up. And I see Brian Clairhout out on the Locomotive touchline. Cannot be a happy camper. He is very demonstrative so far. Let's head down to Rachel Phillips to talk more about Locomotive's reaction to the goal. Yeah. Rachel.
Duke just absolutely stunned out here, not only the bench as well as the players on the field, but the crowd really. It's probably the silentest I've ever heard this Southwest University Park after that goal from Colorado Springs Switchbacks. And as Colin mentioned, coming into this game, it's a really interesting one because obviously the Switchbacks, their first game of the season, coming in with fresh legs, excitedness for the season ahead. For the Locos, on the other hand, well, they're coming off that loss and meant to be coming into this game with a vengeance. But as you saw just then, it's the Switchbacks really who have that vengeance to begin with and that energy to get things going out here.
And pretty solid getting back as Locomotive, really one of its first forays into the attacking third. El Paso will reset. Benny Diaz played long, and Locomotive is going to have to deal with that pressure. Castician. Nice job to Ricardo Zacarias. Las Cruzen. Back to the Ukrainian. Now Zacarias. Zacarias draws a crowd, tries one, and earns Locomotive its first corner.
And that's good to see from Ricardo Zacarias. You know, you want to see Locomotive, after giving up an early goal, settle into what they want to do. Colorado Springs maybe back on their heels a little bit, just defending right now, and that could give El Paso a chance at an attack.
It will be Castician. Left-footed in-swinging ball to the far post, but easily handled by Christian Herrera. The Las Cruzen himself, 6'6".
Probably grew up playing with/against Ricardo Zacarias.
I would imagine. He's 25, Zacarias is 27, so I am certain they faced each other somewhere. Club play, high school, and maybe together on a team or two.
And he's a new addition at the goalkeeper position for them. Jeff Caldwell retiring at the end of last season at the age of just 27. Going to live his best life, you know, in his later years.
The sunset years of the late 20s. Okay.
It was a good time.
Keep talking,
I remember
big boy.
them fondly.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I don't remember them quite as well.
Well,
I'm a little further away.
I bet they were good, Duke. I bet they were good.
They were good enough. I'll say that. Trying to make a nice turn is Aron Gomez, and I think that one of the issues for Locomotive has got to be to find a way to get number 7 the ball. He barely saw service, and when he did, Sacramento Republic had him well scouted. He drew a crowd everywhere he went.
And he certainly did just there, as you saw, 3-4 defenders around Aron Gomez. You know, was a good goal scorer for El Paso last year, 6 of them, but he also was their top assist man, tied with Ricardo Zacarias with 7. Neither of them really able to link up on too many exchanges on Saturday, and that's what you would like to see El Paso try to set up today. Again, I do think we're going to see Lucho Soloniek at some point in the second half of this game, maybe the first half, depending on how things go.
You may be right. I get the impression Brian Clairhout is not afraid to pull a plug if he needs to, or feels he needs to. Here's Zacarias. Well dealt with by Foster. You've got to say Switchbacks enjoying the early spell of this game. The Locomotive starting to work their way in. Nice lap by the Spaniard Mark Navarro. As he goes up top, Locomotive covers in the back. Liam Rose, Castician. Locomotive chased back again, finding no way forward. Well, the one thing they have not done is forget how to play in possession, leading the USL Championship after just one game with 83% passing, which is right where they finished last year.
Right. And that's one of the positives that Brian Clairhout took from Saturday's loss, but it's very simple for Locomotive. You know, I always make this joke on air. I mean, if you score more points than the opposition, there's a good chance of winning the game. And that's more or less what Brian Clairhout said on Saturday is, hey, we did everything right except score the goal.
I think that listening to Clairhout, you appreciate his honesty. He says, you know, at a certain point we controlled it between the boxes, but what does that even mean? It's meaningless if you don't score goals.
Right. And that's certainly going to be an emphasis, you know, for Locomotive tonight. They got to find certainly 9 minutes into this, they're already in need of a goal, so they'll have to find one.
A little better spell of possession, though. Nick Hines. Well played out along the right side, and Castician goes to work. Lots of room for the Ukrainian. Castician rolls it off. Service from Navarro. Deflected. Sanupe. Rose. They'll work it to the right side again in Navarro. Gets a deflection on the way through. Bounced out. Solid job in the back by Matt Mahoney. The shot trickles wide. Castician decided to take a crack at it from the top of the area. And a goal kick coming for Herrera.
Good link-up play there, though, I think, from Castician and getting it out wide and keeping the ball in. And this is actually something Eric Calvillo discussed at training yesterday. That shot from outside of the box, maybe not the most high percentage of looks, but Eric Calvillo said, hey, we gotta take some shots at goal here. If we're going to score, the more chances you create, obviously, the more chances at scoring that you'll have. So that's what maybe that's part of the game plan for Locomotive tonight, is just to have a go every once in a while.
Malik Foster was a nice run out of the back by Maka King. King, of course, the former Locomotive fan favorite. The Englishman from Nottingham.
And he was so fantastic in that role that Mark Lowry employed him in. You know, coming up into the box on some forays, crosses in on set pieces. He would get a head or a foot on the ball for some goals every once in a while.
It's interesting. Switchbacks saying that their formation was 3-5-2. Right now it looks like 3-6-1. They are pressuring Locomotive, and only Romario Williams remains the high man.
And I thought they might go with a 4-3-2-1, a 4-2-3-1 look with just the wingers that they have. But
sure,
certainly they have some ways to mix up their looks given their personnel.
Well won by Navarro. Trying to center it, Calvillo. Pardon me. Oh, they're going to call Zacarias and say it's a goal kick out off of him. Zacarias trying to find that entry to no avail. And here's Maka King. King to Foster. The long switch to the goal scorer, Enriquez. Too long. And it'll roll over for a goal kick.
And I think, despite the fact that it goes out off the touchline for a goal kick, you kind of see there what Brian Clairhout was worried about with Switchbacks FC. He said that they might be the most physical, fastest, most athletic team in USL Championship yesterday, and so far through 10-11 minutes, they've proven that.
They certainly have. Pense Pakovic. Foster. Romario Williams right next to him. You've got to say they have composed themselves well. Understanding the preseason look that seemed like they were a little disorganized, but first match and right out of the gate, goal in the second minute. Should be said by Eric Calvillo's El Salvador teammate, El Salvador International, Jairo Enriquez.
Yeah, they were
solidly done.
Certainly clinical, and you called it a dream start. You can't ask for a better start to your season than a goal in the second minute of play. Certainly having the chance to maybe watch El Paso play on Saturday and kind of get a look for what Brian Clairhout likes to do with this bunch. I think that certainly helped a lot for Colorado, and they're able to sit back right now and kind of let Locomotive play into their hands.
Good job by Calvillo to win the ball back. They try to spring Emma Sanupe up the left. Didn't work out. And the foul committed by Aron Gomez as he knocks the Switchbacks' Drew Skundrich down to the turf. Skundrich, a former team captain at Stanford. Saw him for Sacramento Republic back in the 2019-2020 seasons. A little hip-to-hip action.
Skundrich coming to Colorado Springs after playing 39 matches the last 2 years with DC United, too. So an MLS pedigree. And again, they lost a lot off last year's team, Duke, but it's not like they're replacing them with nobodies. I mean, there's guys off MLS rosters, guys who have multiple international caps. So this could be a very formidable Colorado Springs team this year. We just don't know what they'll look like yet.
Well, you lose Haji Berry, Elvis Almo, Michi Galina. You would think the scoring's taking a hit, but 2 minutes in and they've already proven that wrong. Where it goes for the final 88, we'll see. Good spell of possession here for Switchbacks after the foul. Locomotive tightening things up a bit. You've got to think that Stephen Hogan especially, his job is not to reinvent the wheel. This is a team that knows what it wants to do. They just have found different pieces to do it. And here's Williams, lost by Skundrich as he tried to come up. And they try the long volley from the back. It goes nowhere.
Locomotive a little fortunate there because he was going to have a almost free run at the goal. And Hogan, as you said, Duke, replacing Brendan Burke, but they have coached together for 15 years, including with Philadelphia Union in MLS. So you'd have to think a lot of his principles are pretty similar.
Aaron Gomez told to stand to his feet by referee Matt Thompson. Switchbacks FC. Enriquez trying the through ball. It comes straight to the Spaniard Yuma. The team captain, that was Testy. Romario Williams right there. And Benny Diaz puts it into touch for the Switchbacks.
Benny Diaz is comfortable with the ball at his feet.
Nice cross and just offside. It wouldn't have counted. Malik Foster. That was an excellent thought, though, by Jairo Enriquez, trying to return the favor to Foster. Set down pitch side for Rachel Phillips with a little bit on Locomotive's midfield, just trying to work things out. That hybrid 6 role between Eric Calvillo and Liam Rose. Rach.
Yeah, Duke, just something to watch here on Liam Rose. He was on the sideline, off the field a little bit. Had just picked up a bit of an injury in one of those plays and stayed on the ground for about 20 seconds. He's up now, running around quite smoothly, but he was a bit hobbly, so just something to watch with him if that injury does pertain as this game goes on.
Thanks, Rachel. I have lozenges up here if you need one.
It's not great, is it? I'm sorry for everyone listening.
No, it's okay. These things happen. Nicely played forward, but again, Zacarias not able to run under it. Played out of the back by Herrera. Yuma does well to play the body. Malik Foster pressuring. Switchbacks winning it back. Skundrich. Backing around now. There's Speedy Williams. Enriquez. Nice heel turn by Romario Williams. And here's Maka King. Back again to Skundrich. They're dancing around the edge of the attacking third. Nice ball in, and Diaz decisive. Tries to get the counter working quickly to Castician. Well done by Locomotive's new keeper.
Yeah, other than, I think you could argue the 2 goals that he's allowed this year really weren't his fault. Counterattacks and in tough areas. He's really made most of the plays that you would expect a goalkeeper to make, including a couple of really big saves on Saturday, too.
Comfortable with the ball at his feet and playing way off his line. Pakovic. Thrown in by Navarro. Far post in. Sanupe. It was not quite on target. Sanupe did well to put a head to it.
And that's kind of been the story for Locomotive here in the first 2 matches. Just putting some pretty good chances together, but not quite good enough quality to end in a goal.
The Englishman just a little wide off the head. Let's take a look at our Casa Ford keys to the game, Colin. What are we looking for tonight?
Well, about 19 minutes in here, 18 minutes here. Our 3 keys were manage the switchback speed, exploit spaces, and convert on chances. Right now, I think it's safe to say they really haven't managed the speed great thus far. Again, Colorado Springs already 1 goal up and have created a couple of pretty good chances thanks to the speed of their wingers up top. Exploiting spaces, El Paso, pretty good. A couple of good quality chances so far, but would like to see a little bit better from them. And then converting on those chances so far, again, trailing 1-0, 18 and a half, 19 minutes in. They got to do better for the next 60 minutes or so. And I think, Duke, within that, you'll also see Mark Navarro, the Spaniard who played in the English Premier League last for Watford. You'll see him moving up a little farther along that right side. And already I've kind of seen some crosses come in from him as well. So that could be a key to the game for El Paso.
Aaron Gomez working a nice ball from Bensei Pakovic. Just not able to control it. He'll fight for it. Even if it's, over his head, you don't see him give up on a play.
No. And that's part of what Claire Hout wants to see as well, is just his team fighting for everything.
Through ball, looking for Sinupe, will bounce for Zacarias. Zacarias up top, Sinupe. Castician controlling to the left foot, sees the through ball to Nick Hines. Hines, nicely done in the box, but solid defense by Maka King.
Much better here from Locomotive over the last couple of minutes or so.
Calvillo. Castician. That's partially deflected and spilled a bit, I think, as a result by Herrera. Somebody got a piece of that on the way through.
And good thing for Colorado Springs, too, because that didn't miss by much. We talk about just having a go, taking a shot at goal. We've seen Locomotive do it twice already.
Castician with that left foot. The Ukrainian impressive, controlling the game through much of the contest last Saturday and showing some signs that he's picking up right where he left off here tonight. But it is 1-0. The goal scored by Jairo Enriquez in the second minute for Switchbacks FC. Couldn't ask for a better start to the match for them. Locomotive still looking for its first goal of the season. Yuma, 37 years old and still going strong, the team captain.
I'd hope I am half as athletic and in good and a quarter of the shape at 37.
That's a turnover. Diaz. They try to challenge Malik. Foster's going to get there, and it's just going to be too far. It was a nice thought out of the back, though, by Zach Zandy.
Moment of sloppiness there from Locomotive. I can't imagine Brian Clairhout is too happy with that. Again, he said this yesterday that they have to be good on the ball. You can't give anything free up to Colorado Springs. Almost a freebie right there, too.
Zandy, the former Villanova Wildcat back in the day, was a part of the Philadelphia Union system, so obviously known to Brendan Burke and Stephen Hogan.
Maybe even Brian Clairhout, too, from the Philadelphia area, coached at Temple.
Out it comes. Nice touch by Yuma, keeping it away from Zandy. Locomotive cool under pressure, but the pressure has certainly been provided by Switchbacks. Castician. Fouled by Enriquez, who gets a little talking to by Matt Thompson, our referee tonight. As we pointed out, the most fouled Locomotive player, I would imagine, Saturday.
He was always seemingly picking himself up from a spill.
See him get back to his feet, eighth notch, bringing the noise on a Wednesday evening. That's impressive. Free flag giveaway. We've certainly had the breezes today to pull that off. Nice service by Castician. Controlled, though, after it bounced out from the Switchbacks for Hines. Rose bypasses that and lets it go to Yuma. Calvillo. Zacarias pulled all the way to the left. Working it patiently side to side, the Australian. Rose to Calvillo. Nicely sprung, and here's Navarro on the attack, chipped up and over. It'll be another corner coming up.
And there you see Mark Navarro, as we discussed a second ago, up that right side, far up from his right back position. And that's what they want him to do, because he has the quality to creep up farther and create a corner kick for El Paso there.
Matt Mahoney, the former New York Red Bull. Good intervention there for Colorado Springs as we await the corner from Dennis Castician. They'll play it short. It's Rose. Chipped in. Going for that up top, Calvillo. Sinupe will win it back. Hines. Every player but Diaz on Switchbacks half of the field, but can't make it play to their advantage. Ahead of Navarro and kind of off target in the pass. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say Locomotive was practicing a lot of those interchanges yesterday at training, just trying to break down the Colorado Springs defense. You saw a little bit of that on that little sequence there.
Let's send it down to Rachel Phillips with more on that Locomotive attack, as we mentioned, trying to work those different plans in for Brian Clairhaut's system. Rachel?
Yeah, Duke, as Colin mentioned, they certainly had an emphasis on that in practice yesterday. It's because they created 10 chances on Saturday and couldn't actually execute on any of them. 3 of them through really solid ones, might I add, coming in the first half. And Clairhaut said after that game that you have to bury one of them if you're going to create that many chances. He said in practice this week their patterns and focus on finishing was better, but they didn't really get a chance to get final third play in due to the short week. So they're putting more of a mental emphasis on needing to be sharper in the final third and having more of a focus on those set pieces like you just saw there from that corner kick. But the key here is still executing when we actually get to that final third.
Aron Gomez is going to be whistled for the foul as he came over the top of Enriquez, and he'll get a talking to. Some great pressure by Colorado Springs, and Aron Gomez left with nowhere to go.
And that's another thing that they were working on in training yesterday, is breaking kind of this high press that Colorado Springs has put on. It's caused them a little trouble at times already, but they've also managed it pretty well, you know, in those times where it hasn't broken down.
It will be Enriquez to restart. The line is set. In swinging ball, too far. The wind perhaps helping a little bit there. The breeze is blowing.
March in El Paso at the altitude, though Colorado Springs, one of the few teams in USL that at a higher altitude than El Paso. Over a mile they are in Colorado Springs.
That'll be a foul called as Aron Gomez goes tumbling down. I think referee Matt Thompson waiting to play the advantage there. Something you know a little bit about, being from Colorado yourself.
I was going to say Stephen Hogan has it made. Born in Ireland, Dublin, and now you live in Colorado Springs. I mean, can you imagine 2 more beautiful places to not only grow up and then live as an adult and work?
Green and green. Green on green. Some beautiful, beautiful territory. I haven't been to Ireland, but I've been to Colorado Springs.
I actually got to go to Ireland last summer. It was,
Did you?
Yeah, it was fantastic. Did not spend enough time in Dublin, I'll say that.
Okay.
So maybe we can talk to Stephen Hogan after the match, and he can give me some things to go look at next time I go.
I am sure he'd be ready to provide that. I don't know any Irishman who is not proud of where they're from and ready to talk about it. And, of course, Guinness.
Yes, that's a prerequisite.
Right. It's a must. Pakovic trying the long ball into the back. Zacarias frustrated. They just have not been able to thread one through.
And that just gets more and more frustrating, right? You don't score for 90-plus minutes on Saturday, and now we're almost 30 minutes into tonight's match and still nothing on the board. It's frustrating for everybody. You start pressing a little bit. So if they can find that moment here soon, everybody will relax, no doubt.
Select, the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit SelectSportAmerica.com for the latest Select product specials and more. Select, the player's choice. As we enter the 30th minute, Locomotive still looking for that breakthrough. 8th notch keeps the rhythm going. But so far, through the 2 matches, the visitors have had all the joy. Switchbacks gets it out to Maka King. who draws the obligatory boos from the crowd, of course.
I'm surprised by that, actually. Obviously, he doesn't play for El Paso anymore, so maybe a little bit to be expected, but he did some good things here. He was popular.
He certainly was. Malik Foster will step over on Nick Hines. Well done. One Jamaican to another, but Foster gets it back again. Played out by Yuma. Sanupe is going to have it taken away. Foster. Rose tried to get it out. Skundrich was there and slides in a tackle that brings down Gomez. And Locomotive earns the restart.
You're seeing that speed and aggression, though, that Brian Clarehout talked about yesterday with Colorado Springs. Malik Foster really almost creating a chance or two by himself there with his pressure of the Locomotive defense.
Makovich and Rose, who says, let's go back to Mr. the S. And a forceful whistle here. And a warning apparently for Patrick Segrist, another one of those new additions. 6-foot defender for Colorado Springs Switchbacks. One of the things you notice looking down the Switchbacks roster, there are only 4 players over the age of 30. And 2 of those are exactly 30 years old. It's a relatively young team, younger than Locomotive by a bit.
And that's certainly the overhaul that we've discussed at times during this broadcast, that, they needed to replace quite a few players who transferred to other USL teams, other clubs around the world, really, and a bit of a youth movement. But again, a very talented young roster that they've been able to put together.
There's Haji Berry, the record signing for the USL Championship, moving to a club in Saudi Arabia. Amazing that the championship has advanced as far as it has. Of course, Diego Luna for Locomotive starting that.
Yeah, he had the record for the largest transfer fee for about 3 months, 4 months.
Yeah, if that. I'm not even sure it lasted that long. But Haji Berry capped things off. And Yuma, the back pass, loose of Diaz. It's going to go over, and it will be a corner kick for Colorado Springs. And Benny Diaz saying, hey, let's get on the same page here, fellas.
Yes, certainly. I don't think that's what Yuma meant to do with it either.
Falling away and slipping a bit as we hit the 33rd minute. Locomotive trying to put it together. Segrist into the box, headed down, deflected, and Diaz covers. Skundrich got ahead to it. Also looks like Matt Mahoney was there as they try to play it long, and Herrera way off his line. Some pressure by Zacarias, and he draws the foul. One Las Cruces into another. I wonder what they're talking about to each other.
I was going to say, that seemed to me maybe a little bit of a shove from Zacarias, but also quite the dive as well. Embellishing that. Goalkeepers are like quarterbacks. You can't touch them.
It's the highlighter orange, right?
Everybody's going to see it. Everybody's going to see it.
Christian Herrera. Played at Maccabi Haifa, Charleston Battery.
Been around the globe since leaving Las Cruces, and it's brought him back very close to home now.
Played his college ball at the University of Alabama, Birmingham, Conference USA school. Malik Foster. Foster tries one, deflected by Hines, but straight to King. And King will let it roll out for the corner. Certainly Colorado Springs content to let it go to set pieces if need be.
Yeah, I mean,
why not?
They're playing with house money right now, scoring 2 minutes into the match. And with another great chance like this off a corner, I mean, you can take up as much time as you want.
And it will be Enriquez to take this one. The El Salvador international. Outswinging ball, headed down. Diaz with a great diving save on Matt Mahoney.
And he had to be there too. That was at least from our angle, looked like it was going in the back of the net.
Mahoney open. And Diaz touches it long, will take it from the other side. And this will be Segrist. Outswinger this time. Getting a piece of that, looks like Aron Gomez. Trying something was Enriquez. Deflects out. Yuma keeps it moving. And that's going to be an offside flag. Enriquez starting a step ahead of Mark Navarro. Benny Diaz hasn't always been a friend of Section 105, but he is certainly happy they are behind him. He talked about it after the match. Rachel Phillips with more on that one. Rach?
Yeah, Duke, a couple of nice saves from Benny here in the past couple of minutes, and that section in the crowd 105 absolutely going up every time Benny has made a save. As you mentioned, he's played here at Southwest University Park with Oakland last season, and he says it was his favorite place to play because the fans were always so into it. He's excited that now they're on his side because he said, as the opposing keeper, they can bug you a little and they can get into your head. So it's nice that he's on the other end of it now. And you can tell the crowd right now is loving Benny Diaz and these saves he's made in the past couple minutes.
Indeed. 24 years old, the Los Angelino has made the rounds. Of course, on loan from Club Tijuana.
He was fantastic when you brought up that game that Oakland played here last year. He was kind of essential in keeping that match in a 1-1 draw. He made some fantastic saves like the one we just saw him make off the corner kick.
I think one of the biggest issues is Locomotive wanted to keep her comfortable with the ball at his feet. We're seeing that from Benny Diaz. Navarro. Pakovic. That's onside. No, it's not. Zacarias a step ahead. I think that he might have had a case to make. Just stepping in front of Colorado Springs. I believe that was Devin Williams, Speedy. Speedy was speedy enough to get in back when the flag went up.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I also kind of thought that Zacarias checked back on sides at the last second, but our line judge has a much better look at it than we do from up here.
Assistant referees, Ricardo Campo, Matt Trotter. Oh my, that is just wide. Intercepted, and Romario Williams cannot believe he missed that. The turnover. As Yuma and Liam Rose try to sort things out at the back, Locomotive, as the English would say, are at 6s and 7s right now.
Yeah, just not on the same page there. And that's where Colorado Springs high press comes into play. Again, they've had a couple of those where Locomotive has turned it over in a dangerous area. That one, the worst of the bunch that we've seen in the first half. And it probably should be 2-0 at this point. Romario Williams is going to want that one back.
Williams, along with Malik Foster, Jamaican internationals. There are 4 Jamaican internationals on the Colorado Springs roster. Deshane Beckford is on the bench. Romario Williams, Malik Foster, and Devin Speedy Williams. No relation, the Williamses.
Well, those first 3, Romario Williams, Malik Foster, Deshane Beckford, have all played on the Jamaican national team, the senior team at some point or another. So, I mean, that is just experience that you can't replicate playing on that level for your country.
Enriquez tries a nice through ball. Diaz well intercepted. A good shot there by Enriquez, trying to find Malik Foster cheating in from that right wing. El Paso looking for a little bit of that control right now, just to take some of the steam out of Switchbacks FC.
Well, and you see Aron Gomez dropping back into the midfield.
Sanupe tries the cross, it's lifted out. Mahoney there.
That's something we were thinking that we would see some, though, from El Paso, is strikers dropping back into the midfield. It's a little bit interchangeable.
Aron Gomez tries to get there and gets a piece, but colliding with his old teammate, Maka King. Nice thought by Mark Navarro, and it will result in a Locomotive corner kick. Credit Aron Gomez, the box-to-box forward.
He can do it all, and then the cross in, another one from Mark Navarro.
Seeing that quality. Former Espanyol, right wing and center back. Watford, of course, in the English Premier League as well. Castician, knotted in and just wide. Aron Gomez. Everything but the finished product.
You can't get a better look at goal than he had right there, and he knows it.
Free header. Right place, right time was Christian Herrera. It's going to be hard to get it around 6'6". It will be another corner. And here is Castician. Drives one to the far post. Punched out. Herrera. Hines sidesteps, and he's going to earn a free kick. As he is taken down by Speedy, who didn't live up to his nickname there.
And that's one where if it's, for Aron Gomez, if it's 1 foot to the right or to the left, it's 1-1 right now. They just put it right where Herrera was.
Hines being tended to, but seems to be untroubled. Both Navarro and Dennis Castician standing behind this one. Castician's left foot, Navarro's right. Call it about 23 yards off the back line and in a very dangerous spot right in the middle as Herrera tries desperately to set his wall the way he wants it.
Both these two men standing over the ball were highlighted by Brian Clairhout as two of their best free kick takers last week. We'll see what they can do here.
Europeans with that great experience, of course, Navarro, Castician, electric Ukrainian. And they continue to try and set the wall midway through the 42nd minute. It'll be Navarro. Curls one, and it's stopped. Well played by Herrera.
Comfortable save there in the end, but credit Mark Navarro for putting the ball on frame over the wall and giving them a chance. Really, I mean, better than any of the free kicks that they have taken thus far this year. Is very quality.
What we are seeing is Navarro getting more touches, and I think starting to kind of hone in. That accuracy is getting there, but it can't come soon enough for Locomotive. Trailing 1-0 as we enter the 43rd.
And I think that's certainly calculated by Brian Clairhout to get him a little bit more involved. You don't bring a guy in from the Premier League if he's not going to be in on some goal involvement. So want to get him more touches, more involved in exactly what you're seeing right there.
Of course, for Locomotive, Petar Petrovic still out, but very close, we're hearing, to getting back onto the pitch, or actually on the pitch for the very first time. Liam Rose does well just to hang on, but the turnover. Here's Enriquez, too far ahead, and Navarro will send it to Diaz, who sprays it long. The Spaniard has been in a pinch or two. I am sure he has seen things play at much higher speeds than this.
Yeah, certainly, and showing the composure that you'd expect from him there. They needed it. It was a tough spot.
And credit to Mark Navarro's family if you happen to be watching on KTSM.com, Estrella TV, or via ESPN Plus. I know Mark Navarro's family playing there. Castician, a little bit of a somebody zigged when they needed a zag moment there with Castician and Eric Calvillo. It is YouTube International. My understanding is how the Navarro family is watching this in España. That is tremendous, though, that they're watching, and it is 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning overseas. Oh, my. Almost misplayed. Skundrich is there.
What a tackle by Nick Hines.
Nick Hines keeping that and averting disaster. Yuma's not had the best of first halves, and he'd be the first to tell you. Switchbacks. Well offside. Enriquez does not make a move toward the ball.
Nick Hines had to be perfect there. I mean, it's in the box. You're going to ground. Had to be absolutely perfect, and he was. Because there's so many situations where that becomes a penalty for Colorado Springs.
Played up the middle. Navarro's. We're into the 45th minute. That's going to be a foul on Jimmy Ockford. There'll be 1 minute of stoppage time added. 1 minute. So Locomotive would like to play quickly. Aaron Gomez will get the touch. Good work by Zach Zandy to get back for Switchbacks FC and prevent the quick restart. Hines. It's a good thought trying to find Aaron Gomez, who will always see it out. You never know what's going to spill.
Now I would imagine Colorado Springs is going to be pretty content to just boot this and go to halftime with their 1-0 lead.
Might be the last touch of the half as it rolls into touch. And that is the halftime whistle. 1-0 to the visitors, a second-minute goal by Jair Rodriguez, the El Salvador international, putting Switchbacks FC on the board. Plenty to come as we take a look at the highlights, the stats, the scores from around the league, and plenty more. Back with more Locomotive Soccer after this.
Get ready to wave the flags. Get ready to bang the drums. Get ready to light the smoke. Get ready to shine.
The new 2023s are dropping in.
And the sky's the limit when you shop at Casa Nissan.
We've got a great selection to choose from,
so you can find your perfect Nissan.
Lease a new Murano for just $289 a month. Or get 0% APR financing on a new Nissan Altima, Rogue, or Pathfinder.
Land a great deal at Casa Nissan.
How I drive in the 915.
Home of the nice guys. Yeah!
El Paso Locomotive is back in 2023 for more thrilling moments, more fun for the family, and more goals. Don't miss a moment of the action. Get your tickets now at eplocomotivefc.com. Vamos El Paso.
Southwest Chiropractic, serving El Paso area and relieving pain for more than 20 years. Not only do we treat auto, sports, and work-related injuries, but we also treat scoliosis, sciatica, back pain, disc injuries, chronic pain treatment, and we even manage stress. At Southwest Chiropractic, our patients are seen the same day. We provide gentle and effective care, and we accept most insurances. Schedule your appointment today and let us relieve your pain. With 3 convenient locations in El Paso, Southwest Chiropractic. Your health is our well-being. Call us today, 915-581-9619.
El Paso Locomotive is back in 2023 for more thrilling moments, more fun for the family, and more goals. Don't miss a moment of the action. Get your tickets now at eplocomotivefc.com. Vamos El Paso.
Welcome back to Southwest University Park. You're looking at 8th Notch in Section 105 doing their thing on a Wednesday evening. It is Locomotive FC 0, Switchbacks FC 1 here in El Paso, Texas. The second-minute goal by Jair Rodriguez has put the visitors on the board first as we take a look at USL storylines headed into the half. 2023 USL Championship season. You can watch all of the action on ESPN+, and don't forget, you can catch some of the games on ESPN2. We continue that deal this season. Wonderful to be back on what they used to call the Deuce back in the day. ESPN2 we'll have plenty of USL Championship action this season. And Locomotive, right back at it on Saturday. Next home match versus Detroit City FC. That one ended in a draw in Detroit last season. This was one of those nationally televised matches by ESPN2. As a matter of fact, I think it was the inaugural broadcast match on ESPN2. We're going to get to see the replay here in El Paso as they look to find a winner. Locomotive, West versus East, next Saturday night at 7:30 p.m. right here at Southwest University Park. And if you have not seen the great new Locomotive gear, you need to go check it out. EPLocomotiveFC.com if you want to buy online. But the team shop is open here at Southwest University Park, and it's open pretty much during the week at any time. Locomotive gear, some beautiful new caps. That's my jam, the cap. And there's some good stuff there. Locomotive FC team shop open here at Southwest University Park. Let's go to break. We'll come back. Colin Deaver is going to run down some highlights, the highlight of the match as we continue here from El Paso, Texas.
Get ready to wave the flags. Get ready to bang the drums. Get ready to light the smoke. Get ready to shine.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
For over 75 years, we've witnessed moments that will last forever. Records and trophies, firsts and onlys, game-changing innovations. From the heroes we admire to the joy of watching them play. Our history defines us, inspires us, and pushes us into the future. Celebrating 75 years of changing the game. Puma. Forever faster.
Get ready to wave the flags. Get ready to bang the drums. Get ready to light the smoke. Get ready to shine.
Back here at Southwest University Park, Colorado Springs Switchbacks leaving El Paso Locomotive FC 1-0. Let's take a look at some of the key highlights of the match. This one coming late in the first half. A corner kick for El Paso Locomotive. Aaron Gomez nearly with the equalizer there, but a fantastic save by Christian Herrera, the Las Cruces native, a 6'6" Las Cruces native. Take another look. Great service into the box. Aaron, if it's 1 foot to the left or the right, it is a 1-1 match at the break. Instead, he's frustrated with himself as El Paso trails Colorado Springs 1-0 at the break. The season opener for Colorado Springs, the second match of the season for El Paso, in need of a win after a loss at to Sacramento on Saturday. We're back with the second half action and more after this.
We asked El Paso, why do they shop at Casa Ford?
Great selection. Great service. Great prices.
And the number one answer? 3 generations serving El Paso. And now check out this great deal.
Get 0% financing plus $1,000 bonus cash on a new Ford F-150 XLT.
Everyone's a winner when you shop Casa Ford. Home of the nice guys. Yeah!
El Paso Locomotive is back in 2023 for more thrilling moments, more fun for the family, and more goals. Don't miss a moment of the action. Get your tickets now at eplocomotivefc.com. Vamos El Paso.
The new 2023s are dropping in.
And the sky's the limit when you shop at Casa Nissan.
We've got a great selection to choose from.
So you can find your perfect Nissan.
Lease a new Murano for just $289 a month. Or get 0% APR financing on a new Nissan Altima, Rogue, or Pathfinder. Land a great deal at Casa Nissan.
How I drive in the 915.
Home of the nice guys. Yeah!
El Paso Locomotive is back in 2023 for more thrilling moments, more fun for the family, and more goals. Don't miss a moment of the action. Get your tickets now at eplocomotivefc.com. Vamos El Paso.
Back to Southwest University Park as we take a look at the GECU kids area. Lots of stuff for your kids to roam around in at Southwest University Park. For Locomotive, for Chihuahuas games. Duke Keith along with Colin Deaver here in El Paso, Texas. It is Locomotive FC 0, Switchbacks FC 1. As we take a look at some of the first half statistics. And Colin, you notice the passing accuracy right back at the top, 84.1%. But you look at crosses, and that's not shown here. Crosses 13 for Locomotive to 8 for Colorado Springs, but they're only connecting on fewer than a quarter of them, probably 23% in crossing. And I think that there will have to be changes for Brian Clairhott, you'd think. What are you looking for in half number 2?
Yeah, I think certainly I would be stunned if Lucho Soloniak isn't on at some point in this half, maybe at halftime, to provide some spark. Of course, 16 goals for Locomotive FC last season to lead the club, was top 5 in all of USL. I mean, you look at it, it's more or less a carbon copy of Saturday. They've got the lead in the possession. They've got the exact same amount of shots, the same amount of shots on target. They've had chances to score, have not been able to find the back of the net yet. That has to happen in this half of play. You got to expect them to bring on Lucho Soloniak, perhaps a Chris Garcia in that attack to provide a little bit more oomph for Locomotive.
And I would say Aaron Gomez has looked pretty solid this evening. He is not, he didn't find the ball a whole lot on Saturday night. He's had positive touches. He's impacted the game a lot more this evening. But, you've got to think Lucho's going to be in there sooner rather than later. More coming up. Highlights when we come back and the second half.
Get ready to wave the flags. Get ready to bang the drums. Get ready to light the smoke. Get ready to shine.
The new 2023s are dropping in.
And the sky's the limit when you shop at Casa Nissan.
We've got a great selection to choose from.
So you can find your perfect Nissan.
Lease a new Murano for just $289 a month. Or get 0% APR financing on a new Nissan Altima, Rogue, or Pathfinder. Land a great deal at Casa Nissan.
How I drive in the 915.
Home of the nice guys. Yeah!
El Paso Locomotive is back in 2023 for more thrilling moments, more fun for the family, and more goals. Don't miss a moment of the action. Get your tickets now at eplocomotivefc.com. Vamos El Paso.
Southwest Chiropractic, serving El Paso area and relieving pain for more than 20 years. Not only do we treat auto, sports, and work-related injuries, but we also treat scoliosis, sciatica, back pain, disc injuries, chronic pain treatment, and we even manage stress. At Southwest Chiropractic, our patients are seen the same day. We provide gentle and effective care, and we accept most insurances. Schedule your appointment today and let us relieve your pain. With 3 convenient locations in El Paso, Southwest Chiropractic. Your health is our well-being. Call us today, 915-581-9619.
Welcome back, everybody. Southwest University Park is the place. Locomotive FC 0, Switchbacks FC 1 is the score. Duke Keith, along with Colin Deaver, as we take a look at our first half highlights. Well, yeah, the team in white had a few.
They certainly did.
and it began early as well, as this is a restart all the way from Christian Herrera at the back. And a little bit of a misplay by Hines, but great work here by Malik Foster, the Jamaican, springs himself to set up the first goal.
Yeah, really kind of just a fantastic individual effort there from Malik Foster as he finds his teammate in the middle. A great assist as it's Jairo Enriquez getting the goal for Colorado Springs to put them in front barely 2 minutes into the match.
Benny Diaz firm when he needed to be. Great job there on Maka King on the restart. This was a great diving save off of Matt Mahoney on a beautiful corner kick from Jairo Enriquez. And then El Paso, Castician, great service into the box. Gomez puts it right at Christian Herrera. Best chance of the night for Locomotive FC, and we will be seeing some changes. Let's head down to Rachel Phillips for more on that. Rachel.
Yeah, Duke, if this game started in the 3rd minute, well, it would be a 0-all game, but as we know, it didn't start that way. Unfortunately, Loco's down 1-0 right now, and really the most frustrating thing about that goal isn't the fact it came in the first 2 minutes, it's how it came. It was gifted to the Colorado Springs Switchbacks, and that's exactly what we saw on Saturday against Sacramento as well from the Locos, and really they're lucky not to be down more goals because they've been gifting opportunities to the Colorado Springs Switchbacks here time and time again in the first half, and that's something that is incredibly frustrating to Brian Clareheart. Actually, before half-time, he sat down with his 2 assistant coaches for about 2 minutes before they went into the sheds and joined the team, just discussing tactics before they actually went and addressed them. So an interesting way for Brian Clareheart to do things, and I guess the more interesting thing will be what they start to do here as to if they bring in a new substitution, and we would expect to see someone like Lucho Solignac come in because Loco is still struggling there in that final third.
Well, we are seeing Chris Garcia come in for Emmanuel Sanupe. Sanupe's night is done, and you would think that there was going to be a change. Brian Clareheart is desperate to see his team break through and is looking for some effort.
I thought Garcia, when he came on in the second half on Saturday, really gave them some good minutes. Second match in a row that Manny Sanupe will come off at halftime. Again, they're also managing the fact that they're playing 3 matches in 7 days to open the season. So some of this may be a little bit of performance, but it's also about preserving some fresh legs for Saturday when Detroit comes to town too.
So Locomotive will start with possession. Gave up the throw-in, but Switchbacks conceding things. Navarro, that's a great turn by Aaron Gomez. Still working a bit backward. Galbillo and Gomez sorting it out. Chris Garcia, the 20-year-old El Pasoan, coming up through the Real Salt Lake Academy. Sent on loan last season and now signed. Out of the back, they're trying to find him early. But it is well cut out by Switchbacks FC.
Interesting note, Garcia actually, before he went to the Real Salt Lake Academy, was playing for East Lake High School, the East Lake soccer team honored at halftime, the District 1 6A champions. Also, also went to they took a trip to England, I believe, over the Christmas holidays to kind of improve their skills and play against some clubs up there.
Nicely run through the turn and the deflection by Herrera. That's a great job to find Castician out of the back, and the most dangerous I think Locomotive has looked through the run of play so far tonight.
Certainly, as we take a look at the replay, great run in. And that's another one that 1 foot to the right or left, and it's 1-1 here at Southwest University Park in a brand new game.
Credit Herrera. So far, he has been exactly where he has needed to be. And at 6'6", it's going to be an issue to get around the kid.
And sometimes you see that with bigger people. They don't necessarily use their size like they should, but he certainly does.
Good work. Bakovic up top. Castician kept moving. Locomotive, the turn and off and in. The first goal of the season belongs to Las Cruces' Ricardo Zacarias. 1-1.
And Duke, that goal had been coming. No doubt about it since the first half. Ricardo Zacarias, moments after Dennis Castician nearly equalized, so calm and collected on the foot of the 18, puts it off of the post and in, and finally they have that moment, the first goal of the season, first goal of the Brian Clareheart era.
A thrill for Zacarias to score in front of eighth notch. He did very, very well, and basically nutmegs. Is that Maka King out there? It was. Nutmegs Maka to score the first for Locomotive in minute 48. Taken well and basically kind of plucked out of the air. First times it, and it's 1-1. Well, that's exactly what Brian Clairhout was looking for.
Certainly, and the Zacarias did not score a goal last year for Locomotive. 7 assists. I'm going to look at right now to see if that may be his first as a member of the club.
It seems to me he's scored, although it has been a little while. As you point out, tied for the team lead in assists last season with 7. But Brian Clairhout finding ways to put Ricardo Zacarias in the lineup. First of all, because of his speed and agility. Great out of the back. Aron Gomez trying to first time that, and if he'd gotten a foot to it, he might have been able to loft it over. Herrera, though, able to take that one away. Rachel, what did you see on that goal?
Well, Duke, what I can tell you is that Southwest University Park has come alive after more than a game and a half now. The crowd is absolutely pumping out here, and I would love to have been a fly on the wall in that halftime locker room because this Locomotive team have come out with a vengeance. We've seen them pressing the defense here in the final third and really just getting shot after shot and opportunity just in these opening minutes of this half.
You sure you want to be in Brian Clairhout's locker room at halftime? I'm not so sure I would have wanted to be.
I wouldn't want to be on the end of that New Jersey accent when he's upset.
Oh, that's nicely headed over. Enriquez again, great service from the right wing. And a solid job by Maka King to pick that one out. Just a beautiful bit of service from the right side touchline for Colorado Springs. And that came awfully close. More pressure here. Yuma doing what he can just to move it out. Pressure applied by Malik Foster. Locomotive still trying to sort things out at the back. But at the front, they finally have their breakthrough.
Yeah, and you have to remember, it's a new system for everybody. Strikers, midfielders, defenders. They're all working through this together. It's only the second match of the season, so there's going to be some growing pains for everybody, even a 37-year-old defender.
Well done by Garcia, but the throw-in will come to Switchbacks FC. Tied at 1 apiece, Locomotive finally finding its breakthrough off the foot of Ricardo Zacarias in the 48th minute. Castician setting that up from the right side of the area. Zacarias doing well to take it off the bounce. Sends it off the right post and in. That's a handball. Malik Foster. Quick restart here for Locomotive FC. They want to keep the momentum. Castician. Pakovic. Navarro, you know he would love to find a path forward. They really haven't let the Spaniard loose a whole lot. Had a few touches midway through the first period. Positive. They just have not been able to really sort things out the way they want to. But here is Aron Gomez. Nice touch. Garcia slips. King takes advantage.
That was promising for Locomotive there before the slip.
And Zacarias, that is a foul. And the restart coming to Colorado Springs. Zacarias Herrera. Mahoney, Locomotive applying a little pressure up front with Aron Gomez.
And I think a little bit of that is, hey, they finally scored. I mentioned it in the first half. You get a little more pep in your step when you see the ball go in the back of the net. Gomez with some extra life in those legs there, pushing the ball like we're kind of accustomed to seeing him do.
Locomotive looking like they're kind of in a 4-3-3 right now. I'm seeing Dennis Castician playing way out up top.
And
another foul earned by Maka.
And switching up formations is something Brian Clairhout has said that he's totally fine with doing. He doesn't want to be confined to playing a 4-4-2, a diamond, what have you. he wants to play what's most effective, and sometimes that changes match to match, sometimes even within a single match.
In American football, they call that multiple, being multiple, right? Well, Locomotive certainly wants to be adaptable. I think one of the things about Brian Claerhout, as Jair Rodriguez comes over to restart this, is that he seems to be a lot more pragmatic in his approach to what he wants the end goal to be. It's about winning games. Great service, and that's not a just why.
Yeah, he's certainly just in the intensity that he brings, and not that John Hutchinson and Mark Lowry didn't bring it, but he certainly brings an added intensity to the club that I think they've been able to feed off of early in the season.
Locomotive wins a throw based on the lung-busting run by Aaron Gomez. With a long ball out of the back, here's Castician. Gomez. That one's deflected and taken away. Solid job by Enriquez, who's really been all over the place for Switchbacks FC tonight. Liam Rose.
Letting him play.
Indeed. Rose taken down. Seemed like a bit of a pull. We play on. Locomotive does keep possession. Hines and into the middle. Castician from Calvillo. Nice switch to Garcia. Trying to keep it in. He couldn't. They have really put the screws to Yuma tonight. They have pressured him at every turn. The Spaniard definitely has the savvy to make the passes, but again, the pressure has been such that...
And again, 37 years old, I think that may be the game plan for a lot of teams this year, is to try to put him in places where he has to make a play, make a decision.
Navarro missed on that pass to Castician, the turnover. Out front, taken down in the box, play on, Romario Williams. Good job by Rose. Pass by Yuma trying to control. Here is Gomez. Zacarias does well enough to hold it up. Malik Foster giving an earful, and that's too far out of the back. That looked promising. Navarro and Castician both not happy.
Counterattack there from Locomotive, which is one of the key ways that Brian Claerhout wants to attack.
Bakovic getting a talking to. Well, one of the things about being Yuma, as Colorado Springs will have to call on the trainer, Jair Enriquez is the man who's down, being tended to by the team staff, Stephen Upham. And Bence Pakovic gets the yellow card.
Certainly
we'll call
hope
it the 57th minute.
Certainly hope Enriquez is okay, as he's being tended to, finally being helped up off the pitch by the training staff. When two guys going airborne, sometimes it can not be a good scenario for one or both of the players. Certainly see that there.
Well, Enriquez being tended to as we restart. They're off the free kick. Here's Mahoney. All the way around trying to keep it in is Romario Williams. That'll be lifted out for the corner kick. Williams denying Benediaz an angle to come in and get it.
Benny Diaz creeping pretty far out given the circumstances, but did well to kind of force Williams into making a decision.
And Navarro there to help out. So they did recover. And this will be Patrick Segrist into the middle. Locomotive heads it clear. Williams Sent back by Foster to the far post and off of the head. Jimmy Ockford sending it for a ride. And how wonderful is it for Locomotive FC after the departure of some of the great Locomotive defenders, of course, Chiro and Toko being chief among those, to have a guy like Mark Navarro. Bence Pakovic is no slouch at 6'1", and they've got some backliners with some height. We've talked about Mark Navarro, who can slide into the center back role as well, but also actual center backs, I think, is instead of hybrid, bringing over guys who cover on the wings and so forth.
Right.
Man, everybody loved Andrew Fox, but he's not a real center back.
Right.
They filled in very, very well.
Yeah,
but
I mean, you bring up the size. I mean, Mark Navarro 6'2", Bence Pakovic 6'1", Yuma at that center back position at 5'10". I feel like he plays bigger than that, though, and certainly you want to have that, and also have guys with that size, as you were talking about with Navarro, have the pace and speed to get upfield the way they want them to.
Let's send it down to Rachel Phillips for more on that back line and their communication with Benny Diaz after we wait a bit to see how this goes. Garcia will knot it over the bar. Hard to take down on the bounce, that's for sure. Rachel.
Yeah, Duke, I spoke to Benny Diaz about how things are going, and he said the five guys are all really getting along and forming a family, and he knows that will only get stronger with time. He told me right now he's having to adapt a little bit because of the language barrier. He said he will speak to Yuma and Navarro in Spanish and Hines and Bence in English. So for him, he's having to learn how to communicate quicker to the guys in front of him, something he said will only get easier with time, and something not a lot of keepers can do. I mean, he can speak both languages, so he's kind of got somewhat of an advantage there.
Enriquez with a takedown of Castician, earning Locomotive a free kick. I've spoken to Mark Navarro, who is very conversant in English, much more than I am in Spanish, I can tell you that.
No doubt about that. Wants to be fluent by the time the season is over here, but says he came to El Paso in part because he and his wife could speak Spanish here. They came and visited before he arrived officially and made the decision, and that was a key part of it.
Well, I would imagine that is a wonderful recruiting tool for more than one great Spanish-speaking player. Here's Castician, service to the far post, and nobody in blue on the other end.
Not sure if that was a mix-up there or just maybe the ball wasn't where he necessarily wanted to put it. But interesting kind of time frame now for Colorado Springs. You score in the second minute, and then you're on your defensive foot for the entire first half. And now you kind of have to transition back into maybe what your original game plan was to get another goal. Whereas El Paso has kind of been on that front foot trying to chase a goal the entire time.
Well, we'll see how things go for Stephen Hogan's Switchbacks FC. Certainly has proven capable, and that press has given Locomotive fits at times. You've got to think they can turn it on in a split second as Romario Williams earns the free kick. King, very active this half. Skundrich, Williams, nicely picked out, slid over, the cross back in, and it's just that easy. What a goal, Malik Foster, but the flag is up, it won't count. Locomotive quickly on the restart, Benedias, wasting no time.
Definitely fortunate there. Maybe the best run of play that Colorado Springs has had in terms of setting up a potential attack.
Enriquez loses a handle on the ball through no small effort by Aaron Gomez. We'll take a look at that one again for any Switchbacks FC fans who might be curious. But here comes Foster. Enriquez. Navarro. Whistled for the foul, and We were hearing that Chapa Herrera is about to come on for Dennis Costichin. And Miles Lyons for Mark Navarro here very shortly as we enter the 64th minute of play. Tied at 1. Locomotive scoring in the opening 3 minutes of the second half to equalize after Switchbacks FC opened the scoring 2 minutes in. And a hard foul has given Locomotive a free kick. And that's Nick Hines, who's taken more than one bump tonight. Helped to his feet by Yuma as well as Romario Williams. Nick Hines could play for the Jamaican national team if they wanted him to.
Seems to be,
or the United States.
Seems to be not just in this match, but kind of across USL. Jamaica seems to be a popular place for USL teams to kind of go looking for talent for their clubs.
And why not? Former member of the Akron Zips, great collegiate program. Here is Navarro. Bakovic thinks the better of making that pass with Skundrich right on him. Long and out of the back and almost misplayed. Zacarias to challenge King. The Englishman steps in and puts it right to Bakovic. Navarro. Navarro and Costichin may be the last action for them.
And I do think for Navarro, at least, he's been very quality tonight. I think that's more just to save his legs for Saturday. Because, again, another match in 3 days. They got to be ready.
Good switch out to the right side, and Navarro with acres of space puts a nice ball in Costichin. Cuts back, Navarro misses. Up top, Calvillo just wide, deflected. It'll be a corner kick.
And it's the two guys that are about to come off the pitch, Costichin and Navarro, kind of setting that up for Locomotive FC. A very necessary deflection. That was going in the back of the net, no doubt.
Sliding in, I think that was Mahoney. We'll wait for the corner kick because Costichin's going to deliver it. Costichin to the far post and headed clear by Jimmy Ockford. It's knotted over the byline, so another corner kick coming for Costichin. They want the Ukrainian service regardless of which foot or wherever else. They'll roll it short. Calvillo, the back heel, offside. Well sighted by the assistant referee, Matt Trotter. Nice thought for the back heel, but just didn't work out.
Yeah,
and
certainly
now,
like the idea there from El Paso's. Now we will see the substitutions. Navarro and Costichin coming off. Miles Lyons and Chapa coming on. We talked a lot about Chapa in the previous broadcast on Saturday, making his first appearance since tearing his ACL last season. Played pretty well, coming on around the same time that he is tonight. And we'll see if he can be part of, a potential game-winning goal for El Paso now.
great to see Chapa Herrera back. Of course, many months sending it to rehab and dealing with that as we talk more about it with Rachel Phillips. Rachel, it is wonderful to see number 20 back on the pitch here at Southwest University Park.
Yeah, it certainly is, and his teammates love having him back in the team. I remember back when he got injured last season, during a warm-up, they all wore their shirts with Chapa on the back of them. That's how much he means to this team, and that's how devastated they were to not have him. And I guess it also goes to show just how much weight his word carries. He actually spoke to me about Miles Lyons, who you just saw come onto the field with him, and he said he's really seen Miles become a different player. He said his decision-making and aggressiveness have just gone up another level, and he expects that only to grow as the youngster gets more time on the field. Just 20 years of age, Miles Lyons is.
Miles Lyons trying that cross. It didn't work out for him too well. Colorado Springs the easy clearance. Switchbacks FC making a couple of subs as well. Coming onto the field, Deshane Beckford replaces Malik Foster, and Jay Chapman in for Jairo Enriquez. So Enriquez, the goal scorer, off the pitch. He's taken a couple of knocks himself. Lions the throw in. Calvillo run into. Slow to get back to his feet. Speedy Williams pushing it off to the right. And here's King. Beckford. Oh, and look who we see up and off the bench.
Look who it is.
Engine number 9.
Lucho Solignac, El Paso's leading scorer from a season ago, 16 goals, again 5th in USL Championship. And Duke, he was so clinical, scored on 30% of his chances for Locomotive last year. That was most of anybody in the top 10 in the league in goal scoring.
The throw in by King, nodded back into the middle. Hines gets there, Calvillo to clear it out. We'll do it again. But how about this? One Jamaican international for another. Deshane Beckford checking in from Malik Foster as that one's also nodded back out. This time Locomotive a little more control. And advantage played perhaps. Yeah, it was a foul. They waited to call it. Wanted to see if Locomotive could continue control. Aron Gomez trying to break it out along that right side.
Beckford, like you said, one of 4 Jamaican nationals on this club. Also has played for his country in international play. As Lucha will come in for Aron Gomez. And I want to mention too, Duke, about one of the other players that came on for Colorado Springs, Jay Chapman, the midfielder, number 8. Also spent some time in MLS with Inter Miami, Toronto FC, won a championship with them, in fact. So these Switchbacks, the Switchbacks team, again, losing a lot off last year's club, but reloading very quickly with some high-level talent.
Restart for Switchbacks coming up as Lucho Solignac, the Argentinian, about ready to make his 2023 Locomotive debut. 2 away from being the all-time regular season goal scorer. He's going to replace the man who holds that record currently, his teammate Aron Gomez. And Aron Gomez has certainly run a race tonight for Locomotive FC. The man who came over from Bravos, was on loan for 3 years, finally signed his contract with Locomotive, gets a well-deserved crowd turn, as does Lucho Solignac. Down to Rachel Phillips for more.
Yeah, Duke, Colin, we've been talking about it all game. This is a massive inclusion for this Locomotive squad to have Lucho Solignac come on when the game is tied. As we mentioned, he scored 16 goals last season. I just want to break down how many that really is. He has a strike rate of 1 goal every 137.3 minutes. So that's in less than 2 games, he's scoring a goal easily. It actually tied him for 5th in goals and 8th in goal contributions with 5 assists to his name as well. That's across the entire league last season. He is a force, and it's exactly what this Locomotive team need right now as they look to get the game-winning goal.
I was told there was not going to be math.
What can I say, Colin? I'm not just a journalist. I've got some maths in me too.
Uh-huh. That's deflected.
That's a great, what a find. That is a great statistical equation that Rachel put together for us tonight, Duke.
Well, that is amazing, and I'm struggling to do the math. 1 in every 130 some odd. What was the figure, Rachel?
137.3 minutes. And I will be honest with you guys, I did not do that maths. I found that stat, and I'm just taking it. But I still found it.
Why would you say that? Take credit.
I'm still taking credit. I found it. I just didn't do the maths.
Well done. And of course, you know, as the Australians and English do, maths.
Better at it than us.
Yes, indeed. I'll go with the plural. That's fine. Chris Garcia wins the foul. Couple of substitutions coming for Switchbacks FC as well. Colorado fans or Colorado Springs fans can look forward to seeing the debut of Duke Lacroix, former Sacramento Republic player, along with Aaron Wheeler, out of Baltimore. Coming in to replace Zach Zandy and Romario Williams.
There can be room for only one Duke on this broadcast, Duke.
That's why he's the best color analyst in the business, folks. On the restart, Calvillo nods one in. Maka King nods it back out again. Lions regains control for Locomotive. Yuma. Hines to Liam Rose, the Australian. Lucho's first touch of the match and of the season. Locomotive certainly content to work it side to side and at their best playing that patient possession game. Lucho ready to make a run. The Argentine sets up the left foot, gets a deflection on the way, and it will be a corner kick.
El Paso putting Lucho farther out wide than maybe they normally would last year, but that's something that you'll see again with these strikers. They'll move up a little bit into the midfield. They'll also push out, and he can create chances for himself as well as others. Nearly putting one on goal there.
Jimmy Otford sends that one up and out. Otford's been around. They'll play the corner short. Lucho nodding one in, looking for Zacarias, and at the far post, Pakovic was making a run. Didn't get there. Pushed out by Switchbacks FC. Oxford, one of the few to spend times in the NASL. Yuma, the man on the ball, certainly did. Rayo OKC. Jacksonville Armada, where he played for Mark Lowry.
These guys, yeah, they may be some of the few left over from NASL.
True enough. Lions will draw the contact and earn the foul. That's nicely done by the youngster. That's a pretty heady move. Knew he had no chance at the ball, so just stands in front and gets mugged. Here come the substitutions for Switchbacks FC. The foul there on Siegrist. As we see coming onto the field, Duke Lacroix and Aaron Wheeler for Zandy and Williams.
Perhaps a bit more of a defensive substitution there for Colorado Springs. You know, first match of the year. They also play on Saturday as well. So maybe on the road, you just try to get out of town with a point.
Certainly point is the order of business when you have a tie. As we are into the 76th minute and just about to hit minute 77. So perhaps the Irishman Stephen Hogan being very pragmatic indeed here in El Paso. Lions will take the free kick he earns. Youngster out of the Barca Residency Academy. Locomotive with a very nice pipeline there. A long switch. That's going to be a foul as King, pushed by Garcia. That's a word for the El Paso youngster, as the Englishman is wont to do.
Garcia has been strong since he came on at halftime. I mean, again, they've involved him quite a bit on that left side.
You know, he's only 20 years old. He doesn't look it. He looks like the kid that, you know, maybe got sent into the convenience store to make a run for his buddies back in the day. That'll bounce kindly for Benny Diaz.
Well, living far away from home for quite a while, too. You know, it forces him to grow up maybe faster than other people would.
Well said. Good turn here. It'll be Siegrist. Off to the left side on Lacroix. Lacroix, nice for Siegrist, but well spotted by Pakovic, and he just lets it roll over for the goal kick. The Hungarian, great addition to this Locomotive squad, and as we pointed out, talking earlier about Locomotive's back line. All the credit in the world to Andrew Fox, Matt Boehner, who retired after the season. They would be the first to tell you they are not true center backs.
No.
Nor is Yuma, for that matter. He's a converted 6. Oh, that bounces kindly for Lucho. The Argentine. Misplayed in a slip, and Lions can't get there.
And almost just waiting for help, and help took a little bit too long to arrive. Lions making that overlapping run, but just couldn't get on the same page.
But it is wonderful to complete that thought, to have center backs and very well regarded ones to help out Yuma, who has done some yeoman's work over the last, basically, well, this would be his 3rd season in that role.
For sure. And, you know, to Andrew Fox and Matt Boehner's credit, to have the versatility to move to a position that maybe you're not as comfortable with shows to the quality of how they play. Andrew Fox, I believe, playing for Orange County this year.
Yes.
But you're right, to have a true center back, a true left back, a true right back, that just shows, or it just adds to, you know, the quality of El Paso, and that makes them more dangerous in a lot of ways.
That is the intent, just trying to solidify things. They've had their issues tonight. Credit Switchbacks FC for that. They'll have some control here. Segrist. Knotted decisively back by Pakovic, but it comes straight for Jay Chapman. Will swing it out to the right, and King. And he lets it get away. The Englishman's touch deserts him there.
And he is going to hear about it from 8th notch, I would imagine.
Maka King. There you see in full effect the slots left open for his calves to breathe. Calves. Rips holes in his socks. Such a weird looking deal. Benny Diaz. Solid there.
Breathability in the calves is important.
Apparently it is. It is for Maka King.
I do that with my jeans.
just busting out, huh?
You know, you got it. You got it. You know, show it off.
When you got it, flaunt it.
I'm just kidding, folks. I have very nice calves.
Diaz under pressure. Kind of got left on an island by Pakovic's back pass. Skundrich was there to provide pressure, and that will be a foul. Taking a seat is Beckford, courtesy of Nick Hines.
Certainly late in the match, this is kind of a chance here for Colorado Springs, who's been content to sit back a little bit to maybe go for the win, or the go-ahead goal at the very least.
Malik Foster getting into the net for a play that was whistled offside, so certainly Colorado Springs, when they have opportunities to move the ball, can do so in a set piece. In a pretty dangerous part of the pitch, Jay Chapman, the Ontario, Canada native, ready for the restart. Too far. Locomotive with a throw. Looks like he wanted to pick out Segrist on that far side, but it was well over Segrist's head, even at 6 foot plus. Zacarias and Calvillo do well enough.
Yeah, just forcing Colorado Springs to make a decision, make a move, and
covered here by Diaz.
Zacarias, we said it on Saturday. What Brian Clarehouse called him a tank, and how big he is at that striker position. And he uses it to his advantage quite frequently, but he also has kind of the ability to move around very quickly, like a smaller player would too.
Chaparrera called for the foul as he goes in to try and break up what Colorado Springs was trying to get started on the other side. Segrist taken down in a heap. Don't miss a minute of the action in 2023, whether your club's on the road or at home. Nearly every second of the USL Championship on ESPN Plus. Home to the USL, MLS, La Liga, the Bundesliga, UFC, and more. Sign up today at plus.espn.com. Good to see Segrist back up and running. Speedy Williams. Hasn't had to be speedy tonight. Chapman. Good turn here by Beckford. Williams will swing it to the left. Segrist. From Lacroix and back and around.
I was actually expecting Lacroix to potentially start this match.
Great USL pedigree, that's for sure. Siegrist picks out a nice one here for Chapman. Swings it over, the shot is deflected. And out of play, it'll be a corner kick. Nick Hines, right place, right time. But they worked it well to Drew Skundrich and the Pennsylvanian. Actually went out for a throw. King can certainly provide service, though, with those long throw-ins. It's not a down, and that's going to be a foul whistled on Patrick Siegrist as Yuma takes a seat. Headed toward the 85th minute, Locomotive on the board. They have a point as well, but you know Brian Claerhout wants to go for the win.
Yeah, he said the same on Saturday as well. You know, down your best striker, maybe your most creative midfielder in Petar Petrovic, who we haven't even had a chance to see yet. He was willing to go for it then. Now you got Lucho back, healthy, came on in the 72nd minute. You have all the guys that have a potential chance to go for it here.
Rose, Zachariasen well worked back to Hines. Chapa slides it out of trouble. But now in trouble, taken away. And on the run, Lacroix trying to get there. Yuma does well to recover just enough. Bakovic nicely slid up. Lacroix had to make a move. 37 years young. Yuma getting back to make a play.
Had to be there too, otherwise Lacroix was going to be having a free run in on goal.
Here's Skundrich. Siegrist, and that's deflected. And the flag is up. It's offside.
We've said it many times. Benny Diaz is not afraid to come out and play the ball at his feet. Maybe almost too willing at times, but I do know that that is what Brian Claerhout wants him to do.
Substitution for Switchbacks FC. Dennis Erdman coming on to replace Jay Chapman. Well, that's interesting.
Very interesting.
Chapman on the field for not very long, and I don't know if that's an injury situation. But Dennis Erdman is on to replace the substitution. Long ball out of the back looking for Lucho. It'll be controlled on the bounce. Calvillo, though, can't play it through.
Erdman's one of the few returners from last year as well in the defensive side of things for Colorado Springs.
10 players do return, a lot more turnover than Locomotive. 16 returning players for Locomotive FC. As Rose earns the foul, Williams puts him on the turf. Restart coming. Paco Craig leads Miami FC into Kentucky to face Josh Winder and the reigning Eastern Conference winners Louisville City FC. Not easy for me to say. For whatever reason, don't miss the start of the new season. USL and ESPN Saturday, May 13th, 5 p.m. on ESPN2. Of course, Locomotive in action as well. Saturday, that is going to be a Saturday night. Detroit City FC coming to town this Saturday, May 13th. Locomotive in action as well. It'll be a restart here. Patrick Siegrist will slice it to the far post, and that's headed but wide, and a foul before anyway. Another foul on Siegrist, whose large presence has gotten him a couple of fouls called.
And looming over Chaparrera and a couple of the other smaller midfielders for Locomotive. And we've seen Colorado Springs transition into more of a defensive-oriented lineup here in the latter portion of the game.
It's Aaron Wheeler to Siegrist. Wheeler providing the great pressure that basically forced Pakovic to give it up. Sent Speedy Williams scrambling for it, and a nice ball forward. And again, Colorado Springs really controlling possession here in the late going. To King. Thought they were content to sit back. That is not the case. Spent a lot of time in the Locomotive half, and another great long ball looking for Wheeler in the middle. This will be taken out. Chapa Herrera. Long forward for Lucho. Can't get there, but will eventually. Nice cutback. Lucho deflected just wide. Christian Herrera stops the Argentine from a late, sure to be match winner. It'll be a corner kick, but a great job by Herrera, who just got enough.
Great ball over the top, and then Lucho, 1-on-2, nearly putting home the winning goal, if not for the fantastic effort.
And apparently, the flag was up because no one's near to coming to take a corner. Or do we have that now? Indeed. Yes, corner kick is the call. I think they were waiting to see what the next action was before coming down the pitch. And call that one a well-earned cramp for Jimmy Ockford. Ockford stretching out and stayed on the ground.
A little bit of gamesmanship there, I believe, too.
I would imagine so. Here's Eric Calvillo. Into the 90th minute, Calvillo. The El Salvador international will take it long, looking for it. As you might expect, Aaron Wheeler, all 6'4" of him there, but Locomotive right back at it. Chapa cannot find a man in blue. We're going to hear 3 minutes of stoppage time coming up. Here's Hines, out of the back. Herrera will play the bounce and clear the traffic. Vamos Locos, the chant. And the official signal is up. 3 minutes of stoppage time. Well, if you're missing the premieres of Ted Lasso and The Mandalorian tonight, this is well worth your while. All the way down to the finish. Here's Wheeler. Shout out to the mouse.
Goofy and him.
And Apple.
All of them. Colorado Springs, as expected, wasting plenty of time. Very happy to take as long as possible to take that throw in.
Lacroix. Into the middle for Erdman. Erdman tries the through ball, and it's well wide of King, who appreciates the effort. Biasta Hines to Yuma. Out of the back, Chapa. Nick Hines. Taken down, advantage played, and what a move by Garcia. Chris Garcia taken down, and that's going to be caution, if not more. Indeed, well won by the El Paso, and Drew Skundrich is going to see yellow here in stoppage time.
Is El Paso going to move quickly here? No, they're going to take their time. Great individual effort there from Chris Garcia to earn that free kick.
And it had to be done. Skundrich didn't want to let the El Pasoan loose. Had plenty of green in front of him. Here's Calvillo to the far post. That bounces down kindly, and a great recovery, I believe, by Segrist. No foul called as Wheeler wins it back against Zacarias. And on the run, Lacroix. Lacroix, Chapa trying to get there. Lacroix will roll it through and in. The stoppage time has to be winner for Colorado Springs. Duke Lacroix against the run of play. Colorado Springs has walked into El Paso and surely stolen all 3 points.
That is exactly what Brian Clairhout wants his team to do, is capitalize on a counterattack. Instead, it's Colorado Springs doing exactly that. Duke Lacroix, the defender, up in the final third and showing so much class, so calm with that finish there. And like you said, Duke, likely the winner here in El Paso.
New Egypt, New Jersey take a bow. Marcus Duke Lacroix. Coming from Sacramento Republic, he spent a couple of seasons there. Scored 2 goals, Locomotive. Maybe half a minute after the celebration. But it's do or die now for Locomotive FC. Out of the back. Long and over the byline. And now all eyes on Matt Thompson. Christian Herrera in no hurry here. Waiting for a touch. We play on. Hines. Desperation. Speedy Williams there, and that is the game. An absolute gut punch. The dream for Colorado Springs is El Paso's continuing nightmare. 2-1. Switchbacks FC over Locomotive.
Stunning, really. I mean, Colorado Springs scores in the 2nd minute. El Paso really controls a lot of the game for much of it, and then you get the equalizer, and then in the final minute, really, or last couple minutes of stoppage time, Colorado Springs strikes again and steals a win from underneath El Paso.
An absolute gut punch. Duke Lacroix coming over from Sacramento Republic, and Lacroix, a second-half substitution, nets the game winner in stoppage time. Colorado Springs Switchbacks its 2nd straight victory here at Southwest University Park as well. 2-1, Locomotive gets the equalizer from Ricardo Zacarias, their first goal of the season, but it is the visitors from Colorado Springs walking out of El Paso with all 3 points.
El Paso Locomotive is back in 2023 for more thrilling moments, more fun for the family, and more goals. Don't miss a moment of the action. Get your tickets now at eplocomotivefc.com. Vamos El Paso.
The new 2023s are dropping in.
And the sky's the limit when you shop at Casa Nissan.
We've got a great selection to choose from,
so you can find your perfect Nissan.
Lease a new Murano for just $289 a month. Or get 0% APR financing on a new Nissan Altima, Rogue, or Pathfinder. Land a great deal at Casa Nissan.
How I drive in the 915.
Home of the nice guys. Yeah!
El Paso Locomotive is back in 2023 for more thrilling moments, more fun for the family, and more goals. Don't miss a moment of the action. Get your tickets now at eplocomotivefc.com. Vamos El Paso.
Welcome back, everybody. Southwest University Park and a shell-shocked crowd here in El Paso. Locomotive FC 1, Switchbacks FC 2. Duke, Keith, Colin, Deaver with you as we move into the next match. The Brian Bird's home selling team moving into the next match. We don't have to wait long for that one either, Colin.
3 matches in 7 days for El Paso Locomotive FC to open the season. This, of course, tonight, the second one. They lost both of them in heartbreaking fashion both times. Chance to get a victory on Saturday as they host Detroit City. Detroit winless as well. They lost their first match on the road at San Diego on Saturday. So it'll be 2 maybe desperate teams coming in on Saturday looking for a win. But Detroit will have the fresh legs.
Certainly, as that will be a 7:30 p.m. start. As once again, your final score this evening from El Paso. Locomotive FC loses at the death, in essence. Duke Lacroix in the 2nd minute of stoppage time. able to send that one through and push it in far post past Benny Diaz. Locomotive does get the goal from Ricardo Zacarias, but it will finish with a big win for Stephen Hogan in his first match as head coach. For all of us here in El Paso, I'm Duke Keith. So long, everybody.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.